Spurs are in Premier League action this weekend as we take on Bournemouth in what's shaping up to be a very decent game. Let's not forget, the Bournemouth manager Andoni Iraola was Tottenham's top target in summer, and if it wasn't for him accepting a job, then Thomas Frank would have never been here, and who knows where we would have been today. But as I said, Bournemouth, one of the surprise packages over the last couple of seasons. I think they got record finishes in their last two Premier League seasons, played some outstanding football as well, and no doubt that's why a lot of their top players have gone. We've already seen the likes of Ilya Zabani go to PSG. We've seen Dean Howson go to Real Madrid. We've seen Milos Kerkez go to Liverpool. So I think it just shows the level that them guys were at last season. The fact that their players have gone on to sort of the super clubs in the world. But this is a team that Spurs could not beat last week. So can Thomas Frank keep up that momentum? Can we keep up the good start? Or will it all come crumbling down? We're going to jump into all of that. Give a little preview, a little match prediction, see what sort of tactics that Thomas Frank could employ. And yeah, we'll get straight into it. So, as I mentioned, Spurs failed to beat Bournemouth last season. If you guys remember, I think it was around Christmas time. We lost 1-0. Dean Howson header. Spurs played awfully that night. Bournemouth had so many chances. They ran us ragged all night. And yeah, we were lucky to get out with a 1-0. But nonetheless, it was a disgusting performance. And the less said about that, the better. If you guys want to go back and watch that, we played awfully. Honestly, they battered us. And yeah, it wasn't a good look. Then it comes down to March. In the sort of run up to the Europa League final, obviously when we were playing games in Europe, we weren't really given a toss about the Premier League games. We went 2-0 down at home to Bournemouth, managed to pull it back 2-2, but once again, it was a game that arguably we were lucky to even get a result out of because we were absolutely battered for 90 minutes. Obviously, we know that Ange and that team struggle for consistency. They couldn't put together the good performances in the Premier League as well as Europa League. So, yeah, as I say, this is a really good test for Thomas Frank to really see where we're at. Obviously, we did beat a team that we were meant to beat in Burnley. Obviously, we arguably went to a team that we shouldn't have beat in Manchester City and won there as well. So now playing Bournemouth, it's one of them fixtures again that, yes, Bournemouth at home. Spurs should be favourites for that game. But in the Premier League, you know every game is tough. And as I said, Bournemouth and Andoni Iraola are a very good team. But yes, Tottenham should get it done. But they still have a few players the Spurs have got to be wary of. They got Justin Kluivert, Antoine Semenyo, a player that Spurs have been trying to sign this summer. Apparently, obviously, he signed a new deal. You've seen he's been linked to many other clubs as well, both-footed. He's looked outstanding. We saw him at the first game of the season against Liverpool. Obviously, he got racially abused and then went on to do a madness, scored 2 goals. Probably the best player on the pitch that game as well. So that's a player that we've got to be wary of. As I said, can cause defenses very, very, very big problems. So, yep, him, Kluivert, Evan Nilsson's a very good player. They've got good players all over the park. Obviously, not too many players that you're saying are world beaters, but a team that functions very well. Their pressing is unbelievable. And just got to see how we deal with it, to be honest. Obviously, Spurs haven't yet this season. Obviously, yes, in PSG, but in terms of Premier League terms, we haven't actually seen any setbacks. So we don't actually know how they're going to react to it. So if we do go 1-0 down, where the heads drop, where they start to look for people. Sorry, I'm watching the Champions League draw because I'm actually away again this weekend. So once again, I'm actually missing the game. But yeah, as I said, they can cause you problems. So if we do go behind, how are we going to deal with it? I do trust in Thomas Frank, and he showed us in his first 3 games that he's going to have a tactical plan for every single team. But I wonder how he's going to set up. I'm guessing he's probably going to go with a 4-2-3-1, like a 4-3-3. Obviously, I'm done second guessing Thomas Frank because against PSG, I thought he was going to go with a 4. Then he went with a 5. Then against Burnley, I thought he was going to go for a 4. Yes, of course, he went for a 4. Man City, I thought he was going to go for a 5. He went for a 4. So obviously he's going to have a plan for what he thinks he's going to do against Bournemouth. And I trust in that plan, but it just depends to see what what squad he's going to go with. Obviously, I think the back 4, back 5, including the goalkeeper, sort of speaks for itself. Vicario, obviously Porro, Van der Ven, Romero, and Jed Spence. I know Destiny Doggy is back fit, so I probably wouldn't start him anyway. Because what's the point in rushing him when Jed's in such good form? Been looking up all these great wingers as well. I'd love to see that battle Jed Spence against Antoine Semenyo. Maybe give Destiny 20, 30 minutes just to give him a little run out to get some minutes in his legs. But I think the back 4 speaks for itself. In terms of the midfield, I think that's what's going to be the hardest thing to predict because, of course, you'd like to probably go with the 3 that we went with City and PSG of Bentancur, Paulinho, and Papsar. But see, the thing is, it's one of them ones. You can't really take out Papsar, can you? Because he's been so outstanding. I also don't think you can take out Bentancur or you can take out Paulinho. But for one of them teams, do you look to bring in maybe a Lucas Bergvall, see if you can get some bit more in the pockets, exploit them spaces that maybe we're going to have? I really do not know. But as I said, that is why I'm not a professional football manager. I'm just a fan, and that is not my job to pick that team. The front line, obviously, Kudus is a shoe-in on the right, I believe. As I said, I'm not sure about that number 10. On the left, I'm guessing he's going to go with Brennan Johnson. I'd be surprised if he goes with Tell or Odegaard, but at the same time, he does need to start giving him some minutes as well. So I'll be interested to see what he does on the left. I think it probably would be a bit harsh to drop Brennan Johnson, but once again, as I said, Thomas Frank has a better plan than obviously we do. Up front, I think he's going to have to go with Richarlison, to be honest. Bit unfortunate for Dom Solanke, obviously coming up against his old club. Left them last season. Didn't actually get a win against them as well. So, you know he's going to be itching to want to play against them. But at the minute, can you really drop Richarlison? He's been outstanding this season. The only thing I will say about his Richie is obviously he's going away on Brazil duty after this game. So maybe they look to limit his minutes because we know he does have injury issues. And if we give him a whole 70, 80 minutes, then he goes over to Brazil, plays both games there. I think we could be pushing him. So maybe that's something they do look at. But once again, I really don't think you can drop Richarlison. But you guys let me know anyway. What formation, what lineup would you play with? Who you starting? Who you dropping? Once again, I'm filming this on Thursday, so I don't think there's any new injuries. But obviously, we will find out tomorrow in his press conference. Knowing Spurs his luck, we're probably going to get an injury. Let me touch some wood, though, to make sure that does not happen. Yeah, in terms of score prediction, so it's a tough one. I'd like to say 3-1. I really think Spurs can get the win. It's always the hope that kills you. I do love to say this, but I do think Spurs can get the win. I think we can turn up. Bournemouth also played midweek. I think they had a Carabao Cup game against Brentford. I did check the lineups. Quite a few of their big hitters came on the pitch. Obviously, some of them did not start. Some of them came on. So, once again, it's about tiredness, recuperation. We should be the fitter of the team. So, maybe it's one of them ones where we see it as still sort of a bit of a battle for the first 45 to 60 minutes. And then Spurs really look to hammer home on the fitness side of things and turn it up in the last half hour or so. Or even Spurs could just start off unbelievably because obviously they've got a bit of tired legs and then the adrenaline kick off. So we should see how that happens. But obviously Bournemouth aren't going to be a team that are going to come in and sit against us. So I have no worry about us breaking them down. It's just the threats they cause on the attacking side of the game. Obviously, yes, they press really hard. We've played against teams like PSG and Man City that do press hard as well. So obviously, there is a blueprint there that Thomas Frank knows how to play against them. So let's see how that plays out. You guys let me know your score predictions, but I think I'm going to go with 3-1 to Spurs. I'm not going to get into goal scorers because that's when it starts to get too techie. But you guys let me know in the comments what you think about the game, what your score predictions. Any players you fancy to get on a score sheet as well, who we might have a little flutter on. I think that's it. Obviously, transfer news shock. There's Xavi Simmons, but I really don't understand why Spurs are going chasing players that are targeted to clubs that are obviously going to pay more money. Because let's be honest, if it's between Chelsea and Spurs, I'd love to say, yeah, you're going to pick Spurs, but you're probably going to pick Chelsea, aren't you? So we'll see what happens with that. I'll be back Sunday night, so I'll probably do that Monday morning, but obviously we will break down that game. Maybe if I get a minute whilst I'm away after the wedding on Saturday, I might drop something, but I might not be in the best of ways anyway. So you guys let me know in the comments what you think. If you're new to my channel and you're not subscribed already, please hit that subscribe button, like, share the video, and we'll be back for plenty more Spurs content, guys. Peace and love.